Hey guys, it's me, AlanaRaihnTV, and I am back with another video. Alright guys, welcome to part 7 of how I went to prison for the first time in my life out the country. Alright guys, let's just get straight into part 7. So like I said, I had just got to the second prison. I had seen that all my girls were there, not all of them, but a lot of my girls were there at this prison. So now it's the first day. We get, me and Nisha get put into our rooms and we're unpacking our stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say the next time that we were opened and unlocked, let's say it was for our first meal, or no, we were given our first meal. So like, let's say it was for dinner, because they would unlock us for dinner and then we get locked back in for an hour, and then they unlock us again for something that they will call ED, which was like free time from like 6 o'clock to 7, or it was like 6:30 to 7:30, I think it was, where we had like a free hour to just roam around, do whatever we wanted to do. So let's just say the first time we got unlocked was around like 4:45 for our dinner, right? So we get unlocked and, you know, everybody kind of like rushes to like meet up either at my room or Lala from Miami's room. I want to say we all met up at my room first. So everybody was just like, oh my gosh, like we're back together, whatever. Then we all went to go walk to Lala's room and was kind of just looking around Lala's room because Lala had been there for a little bit longer than us. So we were just looking at the certain snacks that they have here and just getting the rundown of like what it's like. So Lala, since she had been there longer than any of us who had just got there, she was basically saying how she's been in this induction wing since she left the first prison, and it had been weeks since she left the first prison. So it was like we were told that we were only going to be in this induction wing for 7 days minimum. Well, I guess they did say minimum, not maximum. So unfortunately, we ended up being in that induction wing way longer than 7 days, guys, but we'll get to that. So we're in Lala's room. She's telling us how she's been in this induction wing for weeks, and we're like, oh heck no, like what the heck is going on with that? And then she had a freaking stockpile of milk and stuff like that in her room. And yeah, you could just tell that she's had been there for a couple weeks. So for the lunch line or whatever, they would unlock different hallways at a time. So they unlock the first hallway, they'd go line up, and then the second hallway, and then there, and thus forth, then on whatever. So Sativa and Sonia would always get, Sativa, Sonia, and Lala Bianca, they all would get unlocked last and come meet us in the lunch line. So me, Regina, and Nisha, we were always like kind of first, not first, but like we were closer up in the lunch line than they were. So then they would come and then they'd meet us in the line. We'd hold their spot. So the first day we didn't really get to do much. We were unlocked for dinner, and then we got unlocked again after dinner for that last hour. So we all got our lunch or whatever, and then we had all migrated in Lala's room. We went to Lala Miami's room, and we were eating our lunch in there all together. And oftentimes when we would get our lunch, we'd eat in one of our rooms. Most of the time it was my room. We'd all get our lunch, go in my room, eat, chop it up or whatever. So yeah, so that's basically what we did for the first night. We all went into Lala from Miami's room, and we were just in there eating, chopping it up. It had to be like what, six or seven of us. And yeah, so that was our little clique in that little wing. So let me fast forward to the next day. So the next day comes and we had our induction, and there was a lady prisoner there. And this is crazy, guys. This is crazy. So there was a lady prisoner there who did our induction, and she had been there already for a couple of years. So she was like, I guess you can say like a trusted prisoner. So it was her job to do the induction for the new prisoners into the wing. So she'd basically give us packets and like the rundown of just everything, how the prison worked or whatever, and give us information for classes and stuff like that if we wanted to sign up. Now, it was crazy as hell, guys, that this induction lady was actually there with her daughter, guys. Her and her daughter were in this prison. And what's even crazier is fast forward some time, some weeks, maybe even a month and some change later, I had ended up seeing their documentary of why they were there on TV. And they mentioned it before that their documentary would roll on TV of why they were there. But it was just this one night that I caught it, and actually watching it was crazy. And so if you guys have ever heard of, and if you haven't, I'm gonna insert pictures and screenshots right here of their news story. So guys, who was the lady that did my induction, you may ask? Yeah, TikTok Erder gone viral, the mom and daughter duo. Yeah, that was who did my induction.
Mother and daughter, best friends, and murderers.
May was like, I'm definitely not doing it, but I made you do it. Exactly.
That's who I was in prison with. That, when I got home, when I actually looked it up, was blasted everywhere. People did TikTok reactions to their case. People were doing YouTube reactions to their case. Their case was so huge and it was so crazy, guys. I couldn't even believe that I was in here shoulder to shoulder with these people. So basically it would just be so weird when we'd be in the lunch line and you see the daughter being like, Mom, are you coming to lunch today? Mom, are you getting lunch? Or Mom, hold my spit. Like, Mom, like, this is insane. So their sentences were extensive. So the daughter, I want to say, was 23 while I was there. She had been there since she was 21. So she was 23 when I got there. The mom was like 46 maybe. And the daughter had 30 years to serve and the mom had 25 years to serve. I do want to briefly mention the craziness about their case, but you guys can literally look up and watch the documentary on your own time. But just long story short, the mom was trying to keep up with the daughter. The daughter was a famous TikTok influencer, and she would have like bookings and stuff like that, like club bookings, and her mom will come with her to the club bookings dressed like her daughter, make TikTok videos dressed like her daughter, with her daughter. And then allegedly, the mom was, the mom was married to her daughter's dad, right? And so allegedly the mom was dating one of her daughter's friends. So her daughter must have been dealing with whatever guy she was dealing with, and that guy had friends or whatever. So the mom ended up dealing with one of the friends who was the same age as her daughter, mind you. So I guess the mom had an affair with this 20-year-old boy for some time or whatever, and I guess the guy wanted to end what they had going on, or was it it was the other way around. The mom wanted to end what they had going on, and the guy wasn't really going for it. So he basically kind of like threatened to expose what they had going on to the husband, and they weren't going for that as well. So they had a little back and forth. And I guess the boy was saying how he could be paid off. Like, if you guys give me $3,000, I'll just wash it, act like none of this ever happened. And so when I watched the documentary, I saw how there was text message exchange between the mom and the daughter talking about, we're gonna handle him and da-da-da-da-da. And like the mom was like, don't worry, I'm gonna handle it. And then like the daughter was like, he's not even gonna see what's coming, blah, 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 blah. So long story short, because this is their story, not mine, but long story short, the daughter reached out to the guy and was like, hey, I have your money. Come meet me at this parking lot. I got you. I'm gonna give you the money. And so the guy, the boy, he, I guess didn't drive at the time. So he had one of his friends pick him up to drive him, I want to say, some time away to wherever the girl wanted him to meet her. So his buddy picks him up. They end up driving to go meet where the daughter said that she was going to be at. And the daughter worked up some stuff on her own end. So she had a car full of people ski masked up, allegedly, and she had her friend also in a separate car driving, and the car that this girl was driving was also full of ski masked up people. So they pull up to this empty parking lot, the daughter, the mom, and the people who they had in the car, and then the other girl who they had with them, right? They pull into this parking lot, and you can see this on the documentary CCTV footage. You see them pulling into the parking lot. And then you see the guy who asked for the $3,000 who the mom was dating. You see his car pulling up. And mind you, he's the passenger in this car. His friend came to pick him up. So as they were pulling into the parking lot, I guess the boy who was asking for the money, he realized that something was off, because I believe he saw the people that were in the daughter's car. So rightfully so, they got spooked out and they started to drive off. So as they start to drive off, you see the daughter's car start to follow his car, and then her friend's car starts to follow as well. So they end up hitting the highway, and I guess there was a text exchange or a phone call. I'm sorry. There was a phone call or a text from the guy, like, what are you doing? Like, what you got going on? Like, what are you doing? And then the daughter was like, watch how I do you. Watch how I do you. So then at some point, it went from the daughter driving and the mom as the passenger to one of the guys in the back was now driving and the mom was the passenger. So they're driving, and they're basically tailing this guy, chasing this guy, and they started to reach speeds of like 100 miles per hour on the freeway, on the highway. And I guess that's when the guy had ended up calling the daughter, was like, what are you doing? Like, what you got going on? And then that's when I said, like, she was like, watch how I do you, watch how I do you. So then you just hear the next voice recording of a call is to 911. So now the boy that's in the car, he calls 911, and he's like, what did he say? He's like, these girls are following me. Like, they're going to try to kill me. They're trying to kill me. Like, they're going to kill. Please send help. I'm on the freeway. I'm on this highway or whatever. These girls behind me, these people behind me, they're trying to kill me. And he was really so scared for his life, like kept saying it. And so apparently the people that was in the daughter's car, the daughter and the mom's car, they were like, the driver was like, I'm going to have to ram him. And then the mom was like, do it. And so that the car that had the mom, the daughter, and the goons, I guess you could say the goons, and they ended up ramming into the back of, or like, sideswiping the car of the guy that they were chasing. And when they hit the guy, they were going so fast that the guy that they hit ended up flying off of the freeway and smacking into the tree, and the car just ended up combusting into flames. And so they felt like mission accomplished, so they kept driving on their merry way. And first off, it's so sad. Their whole case is really sad. And none of it should have happened. But I feel like a lot of things were very stupid, what they did in this, but especially the fact of them driving back to the scene. So they ended up, I guess, making a U-turn, or they went down. Sometime later, they ended up doing a U-turn, coming back and seeing that the firefighters were out there and the car was still on fire. And so fast forward, both parties that were in that car, unfortunately, tragically passed away. So now, of course, they are here in prison being charged for a double homicide. And it's insane to see how lackadaisical and just not caring it seemed as though the mom and the daughter were while they were there. They seemed like they were just innocent, happy-go-lucky, wrong place, wrong time situation. So until I seen the documentary, so when I first met them, that's the impression that I got, that they were just wrong place, wrong time. They said that they didn't do it. But after watching the documentary, my opinion, they did it. But that's that, guys. So that was the lady who did our induction. So moving on from that, when we did our induction, we got to get information about classes that we wanted to take or whatever. This prison was not like the last prison, like I mentioned before, in a lot of different ways. But I will say there were pros and cons of this prison versus the last prison. One pro though of this prison was we were actually able to go to the gym every day if we wanted to, and they actually paid us to go to the gym. So we did get paid to go to the gym, guys. And we got paid for the work that we did as well. So we'd see that money show up on our accounts or whatever. So now, like I said, we're on the next day. The first day that we got there, we ate everything, whatever. And then the first night of our sleep, and then the next day rolls around. So I do want to say the first night that we got to this new prison, it was definitely hard for me to sleep, guys. I was tossing and turning because I was so used to having Kayla as a roommate. You know, this prison doesn't have roommates, so just getting back adjusted to being in a single cell was a little difficult, not gonna lie. But needless to say, you know, we have our TVs, so I was just basically watching TV all night, y'all. So the next morning rolls around, and Nisha, I see Nisha at my door, at my window or whatever, because a lot of times they would unlock us, because they unlock us at like 8 o'clock, I believe. And so a lot of times they would unlock us, I'd still be laying down in bed or something like that. So a lot of times Nisha would come over like and open my door and be like, wake yourself up, get me out of bed and stuff. So that was cool. So the next morning come around, and they unlocked us for breakfast. Or actually, I'm sorry, we did not get breakfast at this prison. So we would get unlocked for like classes or work, whatever have you. We would be unlocked. So we'd be unlocked for like from 8 to like 8:30, 8:45. And if we didn't have class or anything, or if we didn't have work, we would be locked back in until they had fresh air. So that's what happened. We all got locked back in. And then now they started to go around to each cell door asking if they wanted to go to fresh air. So they open your flap and they be like, you want to go outside for fresh air? If yes, they'll unlock your door. If no, you'll stay locked into your room until the next, I want to say until dinner or until your next class period, whatever. So we all, of course, said yes, because this would be our first time going outside. And I want to say the day before, Sativa had told me and Nisha that the outside area was way bigger than the first prison we were at, because when we would go out for fresh air at the first prison, we would only be walking in this little triangle, y'all. So this prison shared their fresh air outside time with the whole entire prison. So I'm going to insert an image right here of what their outside walking courtyard looked like. And I want to say it was on the weekdays. The walking situation would be shared with the whole prison, all the buildings, because we were in A wing. So that was just the induction wing. There was B wing, building, C wing, building, D wing, building, and D wing was like for lifers. Like they had like full blown, like it was like a whole like mini house situation in D wing. Like it was like they weren't locked in or anything. Like it was come and go out your room as you please all night in D wing, because those people were like for lifers. And yeah, they had a couple other wings too. So Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, we share the outside walking with the whole prison. And then on the weekends, they would gate off C wing. And so C wing would have their own area to walk in, and then all the rest of the prison would be walking on that side. So if I'm not mistaken, it was a weekday, so we were able to walk to the other side. So like I said, I'm gonna insert a picture before, and then I'm gonna insert another picture right here, just showing you guys what the outside area looked like. It was actually really big and nice walking area. They had a koi fish pond outside. We did get 30 minutes outside, and I want to say on the weekends we got an hour. So we got an hour of time outside, weekends 30 minutes, and it was so cold out there, guys. And so unfortunately, if you did choose to go outside, you were stuck out there for the whole 30 minutes to an hour. There was no, oh, I'm done, I'm ready to come back in, letting you back in. No, everybody go out together, everybody come back in together. So the first day that we went outside, we walking around, and we just kind of exploring the prison. And we just you know, meeting people along the way. Lala and Bianca are introducing us to people that they had already met there. And it was cool. It's what it was. It was prison. And I know like a lot of people are saying like that I make this prison experience sound fun. And honestly, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Again, I will reiterate that being away from my family was a part that being away from my family and my loved ones was the part that was the worst. And of course, being locked in a cell for 20 hours a day, that was also the worst part of it. And not having enough food, I feel like, just not being able to eat when I want to eat. There was a few other downsides, of course, because it's prison, right? But for the most part, it was just those things. Other than that, like the food that we got fed, our daily regimen and how we were treated was actually pretty decent. Again, I really feel like this prison was reformative, like a summer's camp or a girls' summer camp. That's what it was giving, right? Because we could wear our own clothes and everything here. So, anyways, guys. Yeah, so we had our first outside time. You know, we were walking around all together, chopping it up, and that was that. So now it was time to come back in. So we come back in, you know, we have a little free time or whatever. So a lot of times when we were unlocked and we had our free time, me, Sativa, and Nisha, and Regina, Sonia, we'd be playing like card games and like board games, because you remember that bookshelf that I said that they had of like all types of toiletries and stuff like that for you to take at your disposal. They also had another bookshelf right next to it that had like board games, books, and all types of stuff like that. So we play games a lot. We play like spoons, speed, Uno, just stuff like that. So that's what we did when we ended up coming back in or whatever. So the thing with this prison is we only get lunch at 11:45 and dinner at 3:45. So at dinner, they give you like these cereal packets for your breakfast for the next day because we don't get breakfast. So at dinner, we'll get our dinner and then we'll get like a packet of like oatmeal, cereal, milk, a fruit, and some tea. And we'd basically have to save that for the next day for the morning time for breakfast. A lot of times though we didn't, because our last meal of the day is at 3:45. So we'd end up just eating our food like that breakfast pack before the next morning. So we really heavily depended on like commissary and stuff like that. So we also, in our cells, we had lockers. So we had lockers with combinations on it, and that was like highly recommended that we put like our snacks and like whatever we didn't want nobody to come in our cell and steal, we would put them in our lockers. The lockers had like the combinations, of course, on it. So I had my stuff like all nice out on a shelf at first, but I had to put it in the locker because my particular cell did not have a key. So we did have keys to our cells at this prison, but like I said, my particular room that I was in did not have a key to it. So I had to like fake lock my door, like put the curtain right there. So like I know if somebody came in my room, the curtain would be like, yeah. So so I basically had to put everything in a safe or whatever. All right, guys, now it's time for some juicy stuff. Okay, so let me introduce a character who was not in our clique, you could say, but this person was a big part of a lot of this story. So we are going to now introduce a character by the name of Cam. And for all of my girlies that are watching this YouTube story time, this episode that were there with me, I know y'all are clenching in y'all seats right now. So let's introduce Cam. So Cam was a 19-year-old transgender female to male. So Cam was, how do I put it? A little rough around the edges, but a little good looking, like, you know, whatever. So I didn't know at the time that the kid was 19. I just said, there was just this day, right, that I had ended up seeing Cam, and Cam was like very quiet, looks like he's been crying his whole experience away, like by the look of his face. And I had just noticed him, and again, this is prison, so it's kind of gossipy, it's very high school. So I had peeped him, and I was just saying to my girls or whatever, I was just like, oh, he's kind of cute, whatever. Come to find out he was 19 or whatever, because I ended up asking him or whatever. And I was like, oh, he's a baby. Like, you know, like, so just moved around from that or whatever. And so some time passed. And when I say some time, like, let's give it like a couple of days. So a couple of days had passed by, and I think Nisha had ended up asking Cam, like, who do you like? Like, you like anybody here, whatever. And so Cam had ended up telling Nisha that he likes Regina. Remember, Regina's our little partner, the one who's 18 years old from Canada. So Regina was like very like, ooh, like he likes me, like, ooh, like whatever, right? And so Regina kind of wanted to talk to Cam, but she was being very, very extra shy, and vice versa. Cam wanted to talk to Regina, but Cam was being super shy. So I played matchmaker. Me and all the girls, me, Sativa, Nisha, Lala, Regina, Sonia, we were all in Lala's room at this time, right? We were all in Lala Miami's room. And I want to say Cam had just walked by the room, right? And so I had peeked my head out. I was like, Cam, hold on, wait right there. And then I was like, somebody wants to talk to you. So then I pushed Regina outside. I was like, talk to him, bro. Talk to him. So then we left them basically outside to talk. And so now we in the cell, just like chopping stuff. And then I had peeked my head out, and you just see them like talking or whatever, talking. And so that's kind of how their dynamic was for a couple days moving forward. So a couple days moving forward, they started to like talk more, be with each other more, and whatever. And so some more days go by. Cam has started kicking it in Regina's cell. So now we're like one down of our group. So because we were all kicking it together all these days or whatever, weeks have you in induction wing. And that's when me and Regina started getting like much closer, because like I said, her room was right by mine. She'd always come to my room, talk to me about Cam, give me like the updates or whatever was going on. So yeah, so her and Cam started building their relationship, whatever. So Cam would, like I said, go to her cell, they'd kick it, or whatever. So now, here is the tea time, the crazy story, that one part of the story that I feel like some people have been waiting for. All right, so there was just this one particular day, right, that we were all kicking it, and then we had seen Cam walk by the door. And so then Regina had ended up leaving out of my cell and going to her room. So now we know Regina and Cam are in Regina's room. Like, we're not thinking anything of it, right? So then we just see, you remember the officer whose name was Mr. LA? Yeah. So my cell door is open. We're all in my cell door, or we're all in my cell. And like I said, Regina's room is to the right across from my cell. So anybody who walks past my door and doesn't make immediate left, because like I said, my room, my cell door was at the end of a hallway. So if you're walking by my door and not turning left and you keep straight, you're only going to so many people's room at that dead end. So this officer, Mr. LA, he storms past my room quick, and we couldn't even flinch before we heard Regina's room door open, and you just hear Mr. LA, Cam, what is this? Get out of here! Da, 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 blah, 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 blah. And then you just see like Cam like storming out this way, and the officer said whatever he said, and then he stormed this way. So I want to say Sativa had went out to check on Regina first. So Sativa went to go check on Regina, and she come back. She's like, bro, go look at Regina. So we go over to Regina's room. We open her flap. This girl is under the covers, head under the covers like this, like embarrassed, I would believe, because she just got caught hunching. Regina! She just got caught hunching. And so we go over there and we look and we like, this girl. And so I guess when Nisha had went over there to go look before before I did. I guess my girl was in mid pull up of her. You feel me? So come to find out, what Mr. LA walked in on was Regina laying in bed like this with with the cover pulled up to here. So all you see is Regina's head. All you see is Regina's head poking out the blanket. And then Regina all about this tall. She like real short. So you see her at the top of the bed with her head like this poking out the cover. And then you just see some damn feet poking out the end of the bed. Long as hell feet poking out all the way at the end of the bed. That girl was in there getting her shit. So I guess Mr. LA walked in and was like, what are you guys doing? Like, Cam, like, what the hell? And then they were like, we're not doing anything. We're not doing nothing. Like, we're just chilling. And then he's like, under the covers. So then he ended up getting kicked out, of course. And then I want to say, yeah, so Regina ended up getting locked in her room for the rest of the day for that. Cam ended up getting locked in his room for the rest of the day for that. And they actually down the line ended up having to go to in-house court. So in prison court. So it's like a court. What is it called? It's called what is it called? I'm gonna remember the name of it while I'm editing this video. It's gonna throw me off. But they had adjudication. There you go, adjudication. So they had to go to adjudication for that infraction or whatever. And so yeah, so basically Cam had ended up getting moved out of our wing or whatever because of the situation. And they were not moving forward. They weren't allowed to be in the same wing as each other. So that was that, guys. That was that. All right, guys, so now I want to move on to another juicy part of the story. So I'm kind of going to be jumping around now within the first couple of weeks that we were in this induction wing. But don't worry, I'm only going to tell you guys stories about when we were in this induction wing. When we ended up getting moved over, or when I ended up getting moved over to another cell in the prison in another building, that'll start the next episode. So or that will be in another episode, because I don't think I'm gonna get everything into this episode about the couple weeks we spent in this induction wing, because it was a lot. So the next thing that I want to tell you guys about being in this induction wing, right? We met two prisoners who had been there for maybe 3 years at that time, and had been there. One of them had been there for 10 years at the time and had 3 years left to serve. Her name was Sana, and super pretty girl. I would consider her Black, Ethiopian, something along those lines. So her, and then there was this other girl, she was a stud, her name was India. India had been there for maybe like a couple years as well. Her and Sana were like this. You see one, you see the other. They were in charge of certain things in the with the prison. They were red band prisoners as well, so they were allowed to come to our wing. They were allowed to go wherever wing they wanted to go to. They were in D wing, so they were unlocked. They were able to get access to other people's wings. They were able to get access to a lot of stuff, and that came in handy down the line. So I remember the first time meeting Sana and India. Sana basically was telling me like, oh girl, do you need anything? Like, I can get you like black hair products or whatever. And I was just like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, how do I go about that? They were like, don't worry, don't say anything, don't tell anybody, but we're gonna bring you some. We're gonna bring you like a care package or whatever. Don't worry, you don't have to worry about it, whatever. And I was just like, oh, thank you so much. So the next time we ended up seeing Sana, she had ended up bringing me some Eco Gel, some Shea Moisture Conditioner, shampoo, some cocoa butter for my skin and my lips, some Vaseline for my lips. So she ended up hooking up me and Sativa. So she was supposed to give Sonia one of these care packages too, but she just kept missing Sonia. So she ended up coming to see me and Sativa, and she brought us that stuff. Then she ended up taking me and Sativa into this room for us to just talk and stuff. And so this was the moment that we really got to know Sana, where we got to know Sana and India. Because we were in this room like this waiting meeting area room for maybe like an hour. And like, so they were asking us questions just about like America and like why we were here, just different stuff. Then we were asking them the same, just different things or whatever. And so, oh yeah, and they gave us this big thing of gummy. They call this hair gel gummy or whatever. I think they actually have it in Canada too. They might even have it here, but it was this really strong hair gel called gummy, and that they give us. So we're talking to them. That was that. We got hair products, cool. So now we go back to ourselves and stuff like that. So fast forward, Sana, I often see Sana in India, like around the prison. You know, we say hi to each other. They came to my cell to visit me a few other times after that. So when they came to my cell a few other times after that to visit me, you know, we're building a rapport. We're building a bond. So another time that they had came to my cell, they brought me like some sports bras and stuff like that. And I wasn't even there for it that day. I want to say I was at class. So when I came back from class, I just seen like brand new sports bras on my bed and stuff like that. And then next time I had seen Sana, she was just like, oh yeah, did you get the sports bras and stuff like that? Da, 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 da. And I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, she was so sweet. She really helped a lot and like did her biggest one. So then there was this day, fast forward, where we were listening to music in my cell, and then I remember Sana and India had popped up in front of my cell doorway out of nowhere. We're like, what are you guys doing here? So they were, excuse me, hold on. So they were just chopping it up with us, and then I want to say Sana was like, oh, India wants your number, to me. Said that to me, was like, India wants your number, or India has something that she wants to ask you. I think she wants your number. And then India was like, I'm not gonna press nobody's daughter. I'm not gonna press nobody's daughter that don't want me. And I was just like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, we is in prison. What you gonna do with my number, girl? So, so that was just that. We talked or whatever, and that was just that. Moving forward, Nisha had expressed to us that she had a crush on Sana. So Nisha had a crush on Sana. So there was another time where Sana and India had came and got me and Sativa out, and we were in the room we were in a meeting room talking with Sana and India again. And so we were just kind of telling Sana about how our homegirl Nisha has a crush on her. And she was just like, oh, what does she look like? Who is she? And then we had sent India to go get Nisha. So India had went and got Nisha. Nisha had came into the room with us, and then, you know, like, it was cool. And then that was just that, right? So it was either that time after... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, during this time, it wasn't me and Sativa in the room. Me and Sativa were in the room the first time when we got the white gummy, but this time it was me and Sonia in the room. So, basically, after Nisha left, Sana told us, basically, she was like, oh, she seems cool, but, like, you know, she gotta basically say something to me, and, like, you know, she's not really my initial type, but whatever. And then she brought it up to us. Nobody asked, but she brought it up to us. Sana brought it up to us that she wants a little girlfriend. She wants somebody to help pass her time and stuff like that. And she was saying basically that if she was gonna like any girl or be attracted to any girl, it would be either me or Sonia. And I said, me? So she was like, yeah, like, so I was like, oh shit, like what? So I say that to say, moving forward, Sana and India would come to my room to get me out of my room in the morning and bring me breakfast. When I say bring me breakfast, y'all, they were enhanced. So they had access to refrigerated items. They had access to toasters, microwaves, and, well, we had access to microwaves, did we? No, we didn't have access to microwaves, my bad. But we had hot food, but they, like I said, they had microwaves, they had all types of different stuff they had access to, right? So they bring me toast, y'all. They bring me toast, eggs, all types of good stuff. So I'd have full-blown breakfasts in the morning, because they come be like, can I bring you breakfast? And I'll be like, yeah, you can bring me breakfast. So they come get me out my cell with breakfast and stuff like that often. And so that was lit. That was really, really lit. So, you know, I definitely was kind of taking advantage of that. There'd be times where, fast forward, I ended up getting a CD player. We'll talk about that. But Sana would give me CDs and stuff like that. And I had my nails done while I was in there. So she would bring me nail glue if I needed nail glue. Anything that I needed for real that I couldn't have and stuff like that, I ain't gonna lie. I'd ask her and she'd get it together for me for the most part. So shout out to y'all for that. That was lit. All right, guys. So some time had ended up passing, and let's say it's 2 weeks now, 2 weeks of us being in this induction wing. Mind you, we were only supposed to be in this induction wing for 7 days. So we are kind of pressing the officers about like, when are we supposed to be leaving out of this induction wing? We heard that it's better in the other buildings, like that we're unlocked more, and whatever. So we were ready to be transferred to the other building. So we're on like week 2 of being here. Valentine's Day is rolling around. Valentine's Day, of course, is on the 14th. So we're sitting here at like, let's say February 12th. So, you know, I'm in contact with my friends back home and whatnot. But what I did not expect was the next day for me to have such a huge delivery to my cell door. So it had to be that it was like nighttime. It was nighttime. It was right before ED. So again, ED is that free hour that we have from like 6:30 to 7:30. So like around like 6:20, I get a knock on my door from a guard, and it was this lady guard that was not one of our favorites. She was just very rude. But anyways, she knocks on my door, says that she has something, and I was just like, okay. So she opens the door. She brings me this huge bouquet of flowers, a potted plant, a pink radio, some CDs, and I want to say that was a card, and yeah, I want to say that was it in that moment. I did receive a lot of other things down the line. So grateful, so thankful. But yeah, so I received a whole Valentine's Day care package sent to me from a great friend of mine back home, and it was just so sweet. Like, so I was just really excited. Like, I had a radio, CDs, and just so much cool stuff. It was just really cool. So boom, my bad. So yeah, so I say that to say the next day or whatever, or no, at ED time when we were unlocked, I was showing all my girls basically. I was like, yo, look what I got. Like, it was just super exciting. So we were looking through my CDs and stuff like that, and you know, so now we started to have the link ups in my room because I had all the tunes and stuff like that. So I just remember this one day, y'all, in my room. It looked so nostalgic. I'm not gonna hold you. It looked like the room smelled like cocoa butter vibes. Like, I love it. So like, it was just this one day where all the girls were in my room. We were listening to some R&B on my radio, and then you got Sonia over here talking to Regina. They both smoking they vapes and stuff like that, so it's smoke kind of in the room. And then I'm sitting on my bed. Nisha is sitting on the floor between my legs while I'm greasing her scalp. It just looked very melanated in this room. So R&B is playing. I'm sitting here greasing Nisha's scalp. The other homegirls in the room talking and smoking and stuff like that. So that's to set the scene, right? So you can only imagine the vibes up in there. So we do like little stuff like that a lot. Regina was the hairstylist of the clique, so she'd be braiding like Sativa's hair and stuff like that, and different things of that nature. So I had an amazing Valentine's Day. Thank you to my friend back home who sent me that beautiful care package. And yeah, moving forward, the days in the cell after that would just be a straight vibe. But we had our moments again where, you know, stuff happened. So it's prison, so it is what it is. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it for this episode. I'm gonna leave you guys with a cliffhanger. So in part 8 of how I went to prison for the first time ever, I am gonna finally get into how this one officer rubbed Sativa the wrong way and ended up getting into it with this officer. And then the day that we finally ended up moving from this wing, or so I thought that was going to be the day that we were moving from this wing, because clearly the officers there like to play with us. And also there was a crazy incident while I was in that first building, that induction building. There was a crazy incident that happened where one of the prisoners that was in another building had ended up passing away. So I do want to tell you guys about that. And so I will leave you guys here. Sorry to leave you guys on kind of a sad note, but yes, that will be part 8 of how I went to prison for the first time out the country. Sorry if this video is a little bit short too, guys. I'm just trying to push these videos out for you. So make sure you stay tuned to part 8, guys. This was part 7. Thank you guys so much again for watching my Storytime series. I love you guys so much. Without y'all, my YouTube page would be nothing. So keep subscribing, keep sharing these videos, keep liking, keep commenting. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my video. Without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Go trim,